Spanish. How Spanish has helped me. Learning another language has helped me. It will help you too. You want to learn another language. You want to learn about other cultures. When you're managing an affordable housing apartment complex, you will come across many different people from many different cultures and many different backgrounds. So you have the opportunity to be exposed to a lot of diversity. Okay, and that is a good thing, because when you're exposed to a lot of diversity, you will become more intelligent. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but the societies that have lots of technology and lots of diversity have lots of progress too. Okay, they're usually more intelligent societies. So in that way, you'll get smarter just by interacting with your tenants and by talking to them and by learning about them and learning about different cultural backgrounds. Me personally, Spanish, being Latino, coming from the Hispanic Latino community, growing up Chicano, that has been a crucial part that has helped me be a successful affordable housing property manager. Why, you ask? Because you'll be able to connect with people better. Okay? Life is it's about tribes. Life is full of tribes and about the relationships you build and the connections you make with people. If you are Latino, you will automatically have a connection with somebody else who is Latino, whether it is through your values, how you treat your elders, how you treat people, whether it is by language because you guys share the same language that's different than English. Maybe it is by background. Maybe you were born outside of the U.S. and just like one of your residents. So you guys will have that in common and you guys can talk about that. So being Hispanic and Latino has aided me a lot more, I would say, than managers who don't have, who aren't able to connect culturally with their residents. Okay? And it's not just about your own culture. You want to learn about other people's cultures too. Okay? How do you do that? You want to look things up. You want to Google things. You want to watch documentaries. You want to read history. You want to ask questions. And by doing that, you will get more versed in people's culture and the different cultures that you have on the property, and perhaps in their customs and their way of conducting themselves. And when you learn to culturally understand people and you understand why people are doing things, then you'll get it more because you'll have that cultural background and that understanding. I'll give you an example. In some cultures, the women handle the serious work, the paperwork, the leasing work, the rent, the numbers, the bank accounts. In some cultures, it's like that. So if you go in there and you're only trying to speak to the male in that household about this stuff, and he's not really into it, and then you get frustrated because you feel that this person is not being respectful of your time or not taking their leasing seriously, when in reality, it's just a cultural difference, okay? But you can learn about that, and if you learn about that, then your way of interacting and working with people will be much better, because then you guys will have that cultural connection. Example, some people, for example, my Spanish has helped me in the whole property management field, because sometimes I need to translate papers. Sometimes I need to translate notices. Sometimes you need to interpret things. When you translate something and you interpret something, is very different, because you can translate something where you just say it in a different language, and interpret is where you are taking what is being said and you are explaining it to somebody in a way that you know that they're going to understand it. And I think that's one of the key things that you want to get good at in affordable housing property management and communication, is learn the complicated things that are explained to you, and learn how to explain those things to your residents in such a way that anybody can understand. And this is going to help you too. This is going to make you more important. This is going to make you more popular, like if you go to parties or bars, because a lot of the time people are going to ask you what you do and ask you about your work. And if you go all technical, you're going to sound boring as hell. But if you are able to explain something that happened in such a way that the other person understands it very well, then you'll be able to connect with that person. Okay, and it takes some skill. It really takes some skill, and you really have to know your job to be able to explain things like a 5-year-old. Explain things to someone who has no knowledge of it at all. Okay, but it's an art, and you can get very good at it. You can get very good at communication, especially if you're starting to communicate in different languages with your residents, because then you have 2 forms of communication. And that can be written, that can be oral. 2 forms of communication. Spanish has really helped you out. Try to learn about different cultures. Try to learn about different languages. Try to learn another language. If you don't speak any other language other than English, you are really missing out. You need to speak another language other than English, okay? The world is changing. Look around you. English may be the main language, but now everybody speaks multiple languages. So you're competing with somebody who speaks multiple languages. You need to speak another language other than English. And you need to be able to write and read and translate and interpret in that language too. That's going to make you a better property manager, and that's going to give you better customer service. And that's going to help you connect with people better. Okay, so we're in this field. You're very, very closely connected, and you're very, very the leasing process and the income verification process is very intrusive, and you're very closely involved in people's finances. So if you have that cultural connection where you can connect with somebody, whether it is culturally, whether it's through the language, whether it's through your customs, whether it's you understanding how they are and you changing your behavior so you accommodate them more, then they'll be more open to you. Residents will be more open to you, and residents be more willing to work with you. And that is very important, because if you have a resident who's not willing to work with you, it's going to give you a hard time. You remember that phrase? A hard time, and you're not going to be able to get your job done. And we have to be able to get our job done. There should be no reason why you could never ever complete the leasing paperwork, income verification. There should be no reason why the resident can't work with you. You have to find the way to work with the resident. Find the way to work with them, even if they don't want to work with you. And that could be as simple as the cultural communication. That could be simple as a cultural connection. Sometimes if you see people doing something, don't just automatically assume they're doing something wrong. It could be a cultural thing. It could be something that you don't understand, that you need to be educated on. And this is a good thing. This is a wonderful thing, because you've been blessed to be in a field where you are exposed to many different cultural diversities and cultural backgrounds, and you are constantly exposed to them, and you will constantly get more knowledge about them, and you will become more metropolitan, more cosmopolitan.